Oh, welcome to the Sharpe Way show. A little bit past 7 p.m. on the East Coast, and it is a Saturday night special. I know I don't do many of them, but I've done more of them recently, that's for sure. Because sometimes I get so busy over the week that I just am unable to do these. I get so crazy busy. But I've decided that I've got to do a bit more. I've been out for a couple of weeks, as many of you have noticed, but I'm back. See that? And yesterday was impossible to do one. Yesterday, if you guys watched it all, I was literally a 2.5 show with Mike Voss yesterday. Wore me out. He was back on at like 9 because he's insane, but that's fine. That's fine. I actually did not go back on last night. And instead, I'm here now doing what people always ask me to do, which is to do AMAs. I hear this all the time. And AMAs are fine, but the problem with AMAs is they're live. And if people don't show up for the AMA, I don't have many questions. So that can be something that sometimes happens. A lot of people watch these shows. In fact, most do, to be forward. Most people don't watch this show live, right? Most don't watch this show live. Most watch it half hour. Some people watch it a day after, 2 days after. So that's actually most common. So the AMAs are interesting, but people don't always show up. So I'm glad when people do. So the reason, the piece I wanted to bring up, and this is going to sound odd. I remember literally 40 years ago when I was a kid. I remember watching the Olympics, and this is, for some of you, you'll laugh at this, but you'll get it if you're old enough, you remember this. I remember when Caitlyn Jenner was Bruce Jenner. 76, if I'm not mistaken, was it 72? I think it was 76. It was 76, right? Yeah, it was 76. It was not 72, 76. And I remember at that time, though I'm not dead naming, I'm saying who the person was at that time for you people trying to cancel me. At that time, it was Bruce Jenner. Don't cancel me. At that time, it was Bruce Jenner. And Bruce Jenner won a decathlon as an American. And I just thought that was the coolest thing in the world. I was like, Bruce Jenner is amazing. Look at what he's done. I can't believe what I thought he was the coolest guy. I thought he was Superman. Literally, to be forward, literally, he went on the Wheaties box. And some of you remember Wheaties, the cereal. And when he went on the Wheaties box, I had my mom buy me the Wheaties with him on it. Because I thought, okay, I ate the Wheaties, I'm going to be good. Now I'm going to be Superman like Bruce Jenner. So I was very excited about the Olympics. It was very interesting and exciting. And then 1980 came. And the Miracle on Ice was so amazing to me also. Like, it was magic. For those you don't know, Shelly's here. Thank you. Shelly says, yes, Jenner was 1976. Right. You tell by the shorts. You're right. Yes, Shelly, you can. Yes, right. 76. And so then 1980 comes. And for those who don't remember, Jimmy Carter, the president then, didn't do the Summer Olympics because Afghanistan. While I think Jimmy Carter is a wonderful human being, not our best president is how about that? Is that polite? I know he's currently in hospice, passing away, so I don't want to say anything bad about him. Just going to say, I would not rank him as number one president. How about that? That's what I'll say. But as a human being, great, wonderful humanitarian, wonderful human being. And I think his heart was in the right place with that. But that's about all that was in the right place for that. But anyway, besides the point, we didn't have it for the summer, but we had it for the winter. And it was here in New York. And it was the Miracle on Ice. And for you youngsters, you may not know this because you youngsters might remember that, well, the basketball team, American basketball has been great. Back then, only amateurs in America could play. So all the best hockey players were not in the Olympics. They were in the NHL. America didn't always win gold medals in basketball. Why? Because the best basketball players were in the NBA. But the Russians would kill us because the Russians had no professional sports. So they were all amateurs. The best Russian hockey players were on Russia's national team because there was no professional Russian, hockey team. Didn't exist. The best American players were all in the NHL. So we usually got beat by like the Swedes or by the Russians or something like that. And it was a Cold War, 1980. Cold War. And for us to beat the Russians in 1980 and get the gold medal, that was like mad. Literally made movies about it, right? They made movies about it, Miracle on Ice. It was so amazing. And I really think that at that time as a kid, I really liked the Olympics. I thought it was fun. I thought it was interesting. I thought it was great. But as I got older, it didn't have the same oomph to me anymore. Now, I don't know, did the Olympics change? Did I change? Does it matter? Is it a kid's thing? I'm actually not sure. I felt like it didn't have the same oomph that it used to have. There were some exceptions. I loved Michael Phelps getting like 55 medals. He got like 8, but 55 sounds cool. Being that great swimmer. I like the idea of being the best in the world at what you do. I mean, Simone Biles, the woman is magical. She's got magic powers. She's like not human, right? Amazing. That kind of stuff. But I don't have the same. And I guess the question is, now there's the controversy. You see the controversy now. Oh my God, with the opening ceremony and the Algerian boxer, tons of controversy. So let me put my conspiracy theory hat on for a second. I'm gonna put my tinfoil hat on. Join me if you don't mind putting on your tinfoil hat for a second. Is this on purpose? Right? I mean, if you're doing that opening ceremony, what's happening in America right now, across the world in general, but in America for sure. Somebody's going to be angry. Like, you didn't do that going, nah, this will be fine. At least I hope somebody wasn't that dumb, right? Did someone really think, yeah, they'll love it. This will be great. I can't imagine them thinking that. Again, whether you like it or don't like it is not my point. I'm not passing judgment on it at all. I'm just saying, if you do that type of opening ceremony, relative to what the Chinese did in Beijing, somebody's going to say something, right? So was this on purpose? To get the people talking? Right? If I remember the rules, I mean, someone will correct me, I'm sure, the Algerian fighter was like suspended like 4 years ago or something for having too much testosterone, whatever, some issue that she had, right? Whatever. Well, you bring her back. Not saying you shouldn't. Don't you know what's going to happen when you bring her back? So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's just chance and people just thought it was okay. But it feels like, to me, no evidence, just my emotions. You can, call me crazy, whatever. I feel like it's almost made to get people to care, to get people to, get back, talk about it online. I'm doing it. I did it with the last Olympics. I've been doing some form of show. I don't know how many years. I've been doing political shows for at least 8 years, right? I didn't talk about it. Now I am. So anyway, maybe I'm nuts. Maybe I'm not. I'd love to hear what you guys think. I'm going to grab some questions and comments, and we'll get this AMA started. I hope I gave you a little bit of spice, if you don't mind. Mike Voss, I wonder how many actually still watch Olympics. Mike, you just surprised me. You were like Mr. Data. I would have assumed that you knew this immediately. I actually don't know. If anyone do me a favor, do a little bit of homework. If you can check it out, see what is the viewership like this year versus a couple years back. I mean, I guess the COVID one must have been pretty bad because they were acting like, yeah, the lockdown ones. I guess can't say the C word because now all of a sudden I'll be demonetized. But anyway, the lockdowns, which were dumb. The healthiest people on the planet, literally, the healthiest people on the planet are at the Olympics. That's not an exaggeration. That's not hyperbole. They are the best physical specimens that our humanity can produce. Right there, the best as a group. They're there and like, be scared of the virus. Stop it. If they are our Ubermenschen, if they're dead, we're all dead. Like, that's the game. If it kills them, it's done. They're the healthiest that we have, and we were worried about them doing the lockdowns. That's an embarrassment that happened. So anyway, Dave says, not as much anymore, but they're talking about the second place. Oh, that's a shooter from Turkey. And the Republican Party is talking about the transgender boxer that isn't transgender from Algeria. Yes. And for those of you who don't know, that Turkish shooter, I mean, I don't know how awesome he is. I don't know. But man, does he look good. Hand in pocket, right? Puts his hand in his pocket. Whatevs. Boom, boom, boom. Just amazing. Very cool. Who knows how good he is, but he's He gets like mega cool points, Dave. I mean, that guy's super cool. So, yes. And Dave goes on to say, I quit watching the Olympics when the NBA was in the men's basketball team and the NHL was the men's hockey team. You remember that, Dave? That's what I was talking about, right? Back in the day when I assume me and you were youngins, that wasn't the case. But once you get the professionals now playing, it's really hard to not get a gold medal in basketball. It's hard. Like, you got to try not to. For American, you got to try not to. So, yes. That Liberty Lady says, hi, hey, Larry. I love the AMA with Larry. You're an open book. It's true. I do. It's true. Yes, absolutely. Shelly says, I'm friends with many people who weren't allowed to use their training because they were boycotted. We boycotted the 1980 Olympics. I haven't cared since. You know, that did turn me off too, Shelly. And, you know, I was young. I was a teenager at that point. I wasn't an adult yet. I was a teenager at that point. And it really bothered me. I was very unhappy. I thought it was wrong. Again, I get why he did it, right? I get it, but I thought it was wrong. So let me go back to what that Liberty Lady said. There is I teach this when I teach leadership. And it's a very important concept. And the concept is anger versus trust. Even ignorance or stupidity versus trust. I can have you think that I'm wrong. I can have you think I'm ignorant to something, or even that I'm stupid on a certain issue, or stupid in general. I can have you think all of those things. And you and I can still talk, still be friends, still work together in the future, still work on certain issues. We can still do that. I can't have you not trust me. Once you don't trust me, the relationship is broken. It's one of the reasons why I'm an open book. A lot of you watching, a lot of you listening will sometimes go, Larry, you're wrong on that. That's completely wrong. But you come back because you know that, to your point, I'm just telling you, I'm telling you how I honestly feel. I'm telling you what I think is right. I give you my reason behind it. And when I'm wrong, I say it. And I'm wrong once in a while, hardly ever. Mike, stop looking at me. Hardly ever am I wrong ever. But when I am, the few, like once in a bazillion times, I'll actually say it. And when I say it, people realize why. I tell you why I think I was wrong. What I saw that made me change my mind. So the open book part's critical, because what I have to have from anyone who would believe in me, anyone who would support me for office, anyone who would share this content with anybody who would support me, is you got to trust me. Even if you think I'm wrong, even if you think I'm ignorant to something. And I remember, this is probably 4 years ago. I don't remember when it was. It was a while ago, when I had come out with my policing policy. Some of you who are watching them may remember. And I had a whole policy on policing. And one of the guys who was an upstate cop actually reached out to me and said, Larry, you're wrong on this, and here's why you're wrong. And I went, really? All right, maybe I'm wrong. And I had him come on a show. We did a show together. And his thought process changed my policy. And I explained afterwards, well, why would my policy be so wrong? Well, we shouldn't say so wrong. There were parts of my policy that were wrong, I would say. They were off. And what was the reason why? Because I was biased by big city policing. I lived in New York City most of my life. I'm born here, raised here, except when I was away, obviously in the Marine Corps and such. But I've been here. So I'm biased by big city policing, which obviously, if you're not in a big city, policing is very different. So I actually changed my mind based upon that. At that point, people thought, Larry, you're just wrong. But he trusted me enough to say, if I reach out to you and I show you some stuff, you can change your mind. He was right. So I did actually change my mind. I was blinded by my own view of big city policing. So anyway, thank you for that. Mike says it was short, only 2.5 hours. Yes, he did another 3 at 9. Tomorrow he'll do 5 in a row. Yes, Mike is crazy. So that's fine. I still love him, but he is crazy. Absolutely. Yes. Some of you guys remember this. Shelly says she likes that the entire 2 hours, it wasn't that long. Appreciate that. Roy, you remember Breakfast of Champions. That's correct. Yes. I believed it. Like, I was eating it, Roy, thinking, oh yeah, I'm ready to go run a marathon now because I ate my Wheaties this morning. For those of you older, if you remember, before you do something physical, people would ask you, did you take your Wheaties? Did you eat your Wheaties this morning? And I would say it too. Like, I was probably 13 or 12, however old I was. I'm like, I can do it. I ate Wheaties this morning. Yeah, I'm good. Right? So I thought I could do it because I was 10 and I had Wheaties so I could lift the car. So whatever I thought. So yes, Mike remembers it too. Jenna was in a box of Wheaties. Exactly. Yep. That's very funny. So yeah. Shelley goes on to say, Jimmy Carter was one of the best men alive in my lifetime, but he was the scariest president ever. I do make a distinction, and I do want to be good because he is on his way out now. Great man. I will always say that. I wish he was my grandpa. That's what I would say. So, yes, there we go. All right, let me see if I can grab this. Hold on. Let me see if I can grab a couple more of these. I'm Sigma. Thank you. Says down about 60% from prior to 2012. Wow. So the question becomes, Sigma, the question becomes, is this because people are less interested? Is it because it is not as interesting? Is it because young people don't like competition like that? Or is it because maybe there's other things to watch, right? Since 2012, we're talking a whole lot of YouTube and TikTok and Twitter and Facebook and all the things. Is that it? Right? What's the reason for that? Thank you for that, by the way. I just wonder what the reason is. I am curious if someone knows what the or even has a thought on what the reason is. So yes. All righty. Talking about the art piece, I can see here. Hold on. Morgan says it was meant to evoke a reaction, just like any other art piece. I think that's true, right? And the one I think everyone remembers was the Chinese, and they're doing their, drum beat and all that kind of stuff. That was meant for reaction also. But that reaction for the Chinese was like, look how awesome we are. And I think a lot of people were like, oh my God, look how awesome we are. Like, okay, I got it, China. I got it. Okay, chill, got it. I think it worked, right? But I don't think the Chinese were doing it to say, be mad at us. Start trouble. I don't think that was the goal of the China. I think it was to say, look at how cool we are, where China was super cool. I think that was the goal. And I think it worked, right? I mean, some people obviously didn't care or mad, but I think in general it did work. I do think that in the case of France, no one thought, you guys are powerful and strong. That didn't work if that was the goal. If it was the evoke reaction, they go, what's wrong with you people? Worked. Well done. But I don't know why that was a thing. Or I don't know. Maybe it just seems weird. So Mike says the French left at the opening to prove their power as they lost the election and the EU moves away from them to center. I don't know. Why would the French left do it? Maybe. I don't know. Didn't French left win the last election? Moving away from the right? I don't know. Anyway, so yes. All right. Let's see. Shelley goes, I watched the Miracle on Ice movie. It was a good movie, Shelley. Like, it makes you want to cry, right? Because like America, can't win, and then all of a sudden it comes out and wins. Yeah. See, Zach is on my side. Thank you, Zach. Zach says, yeah, it seems like a lot of things actually need to do controversial things to be relevant. He's on my side. I think it's true. I feel like my conspiracy theory hat isn't so crazy conspiracy. So, yeah, I don't think so. Roy says, yes, but some people think their worldview is more important than other people's freedom to express their art. Some people think their worldview is more important than other people's freedom to express their art. Actually, I don't mind the art, Roy. I mean, to be forward, I don't. The question is, why did you do it? Right? And is this the right place for the art? Right? Is this the right place for the art? I mean, I guess any artist who gets a canvas will want to paint on that canvas, right? In theory, I get it. But what was the goal of the art, right? Was the goal to make you angry? Was the goal to actually, produce something? I'm unsure. Now, here's the piece. The people who are pro the art say, well, it wasn't meant to attack Christianity. It wasn't meant for that. It was meant to talk about Dionysus and all of the origins of the Greek Olympics and how bad it is, all that kind of good stuff. Maybe it's true. Maybe. But if it is true and that's your goal, I think because of the world you're in now, you probably should have put some type of disclaimer. I know that kind of ruins the art a bit, but again, if you see where the world is, if you're a good artist, if you are, you know where your audience is. Maybe he's not a good artist, but you know what your audience and where they are. So you might want to do something to make that clearer, if that makes any sense, right? Maybe that's a thing that you could do. But yeah, I'm not, be artistic, do the art thing. You're never going to see me be like, you can't do art. Even if I hate it. I don't hate it. I actually don't care, to be fair with you. It doesn't bother me, and I don't care. I'm not insulted by it. I don't really care either way. All I'm saying is it clearly was going to piss people off. I mean, obviously, that was going to do so. So you probably should have known that. And did you know that? Did you care? Yeah. So, all right. Robert says, I've been keeping up with some of the events. Biles came back and redeemed himself for women's gymnastics. I'm happy Steve is having one. Yes, I think Biles is amazing. I mean, and she's like 27 now or something. For a gymnast, that's getting old. Someone's like 14, right? I mean, she's getting up there, right? For a gymnast, obviously, for a gymnast. And still killing it. Just killing it. Getting older and getting better. Just killing it. She's inhuman, and I mean that in the absolute best way possible. She absolutely amazing. Yeah, she is great. Real Young Swag, how you doing, brother? Good to see you tonight. I actually don't care about the Olympics personally. I believe it's all part of the circus. Give them bread and circuses, and they will never revolt. See, so thank you for bringing this up, right? That is my point. That's literally my point. The opening ceremony, the boxer, that doesn't give them bread and circuses, does it? Or am I missing something? I feel like that doesn't give bread and circuses. That actually makes us more pissy. Now we're more angry. Now we even get more upset. Right now I'm mad now. Versus just saying, hey, do something, right? I'll go back to the China one again, right? When they were doing the drum beat. That made Americans like, uh-oh, they about to come take our jobs. We thought that, right? We were like, oh my God, that kind of put us together. That's the bread and circuses part that I would have thought would have been better. This was more like, well, now we're fighting internally. I feel like this started more trouble in this case. However, in general, I think you're right. I think many of us, Robert being a perfect example, we follow the greatness of someone like Simone Biles, right? And we feel good about our basketball team slaughtering everybody by 30 points every game. But, it's not really great basketball, if that makes any sense. I mean, I'm sure people are watching it, but it's not great basketball. It's kind of just watching America dunk on people. But if you watch like the Germans play the French or something, that's like a good basketball because the Germans versus Frenchies. That's fine. But Americans versus like whomever, not really. I guess you can watch it. Phil says, I might just be getting old and cranky, but my least favorite part of these Olympics is watching the gold medalists gloating. Nicely put, Phil. Nicely put. I am seeing all over Twitter, though, just to be forward, we're going to make some of you upset, but I'm going to say it. All the guys watching the hottie women playing volleyball saying this is the greatest sport ever. I get it. I'm not sure I would agree it's the greatest sport ever, but I get it. I totally get it. Totally get it. Yes. So Sigma goes on to say, polls are saying viewership is down 48% from the 2016 Rio Games. Man. So it really is going down. Man. Okay. It is going down. There we go. All right. Let's see here. Let's see here. Let me go. Oh, okay. Different question. This is a little off topic, but I don't mind. I said, ask me anything. Thoughts on Kyle Rittenhouse saying he was going to write in Ron Paul. Then 12 hours later, the MAGA cult convinced him back to step out and support Mr. Take the Guns First. All you have to do, now to be clear, many of these people I do not know Kyle Rittenhouse personally. Never met him, do not know him personally. But all you have to do, if you really care about this, is look at what his title is for his organization. His title is Outreach Director. What does that mean? That means he probably collects money. He needs donors. So he talked his trash, and his donors said, you don't believe that. And he went, yes, sir. I don't. What was I thinking? I was completely wrong. Sorry about that. That is what if I had to bet, that is what I bet happened. If he's some guy, which, he works at, he's a manager at the local shooting range, or he's a manager at the local, whatever, IHOP. He doesn't care. I'm going to write in Ron Paul. Life is good. But when you are the outreach director of a nonprofit organization that has a donor base, your donors basically make sure you eat. So if the people who make sure I eat tell me to support Trump, I'm probably going to say Trump's not a bad guy after all, right? Or at least I'm going to shut up, which the smart move would have been shut up. If he doesn't like Trump and he wants to write in Ron Paul, if you're the outreach director for a donor base that supports Trump, you probably want to say nothing. But again, Rittenhouse is young. He's a kid. I don't mean to be mean, but I got a couple years, I got a couple of decades on him. So I would understand how to do that. He clearly did not. This was a lesson. This was a lesson that he has to learn, and he may, in the long run, lose his job over it, because if he can't get back that trust from donors, he's going to be changing his job real soon. So I hope that answers your question. So, by the way, I would rather write in Ron Paul than vote for Trump also, but I don't have to worry about that. But any case, yes. All righty. Let's see if I can get down here. A couple more of these. Andrew says, who wouldn't want to write him in? Agreed. Yes, agreed. Yes. Blue Moon Red Wine, you are here. Oh, so good. Thank you, Lucy. I'm so glad you're here. It is true, Larry is a good guy. Oh, thank you. Yes. All righty. Karate was rejected by the Olympic organizers because they felt it didn't have enough entertainment value. I never heard that before. That is very interesting. Huh. I never heard that before. I like that. Okay. This goes on to say, the Olympics is getting too political with kicking out Russia and including men and women's sports. Yeah, it is. I mean, there's a lot of issues, right? And I feel like it shouldn't be that. It is very hard in any environment, in any organization, to find something that is actually, what's the word we look for? Clean or pure when it comes to actual talent. It's impossible to find something totally pure, obviously. There's always something wrong. But in general, most people believe that sport is the closest you're going to get, right? Still not perfect. Still people do, money still runs things, obviously, right? But if you're trying to get towards what is fairest, you're trying to, most people think sport, you tend to get close to it. I want to try to get sport as clean or clear of stuff as possible, right? Again, you can't get rid of it, but I agree with you completely. I think we want to try to get all that stuff out of it and just, to the best of our ability, try to make the sport as fair, as clean as you can get it, right? Obviously, it's not perfect. I'm not fooling myself, but the vast majority of the world is run by the wealthy, period. Right? That doesn't matter. Right? Fairness is very hard to find in the world, period. Right? It's hard to find fairness. Again, once in a while, it does happen. It falls in your lap here or there. Sport's the closest thing, and I want us to get as close as we possibly can to that. That's just my view. So yeah, I like that concept. She goes on to say, and disrespect of Christian religion. Yeah. You should have known, right, whoever did this, that was going to happen. Absolutely. So Andrew says, are you familiar with Project 2025? Is that much of a problem as progressives say it is? A lot of people have issues with Project 2025. For those who don't know, it is basically a plan that the Heritage Foundation came up with to basically, what's the word I would use? Aggressively change the American government system and make it far more conservative very quickly. That's what it is. Some people call it a purge, some people wouldn't. I don't want to get people angry either way. I'm just saying the reality of it is that's the goal, to make it as conservative, very aggressively, very quickly, right? That's the goal of Project 2025 and many different areas, from the courts to everything, right? That's the goal. And am I scared of it? No. You might go, well, Larry, what are you, conservative? You know, I'm not a conservative. I'm not. But no, I'm sure that Democrats want to make it as progressive as they can. Well, that's not true. Okay. Actual progressives if there were some in the government, would want to do that. What current Democrats want to do is make it as corporate as they can. And what corporate Republicans, non-Trump Republicans, want to make it as corporate as they can. And they're already doing it. So whoever gets in charge does this thing or tries this thing, whatever the thing is. If Bernie types would get in, well, Bernie's not as progressive as it used to be. I'm not sure what progressives are now. Are there any progressives? I mean, real progressives. I don't mean just Democrats. I don't know, but I'm going to use Bernie because people know Bernie. So if Bernie types got in, then they'd have their own Project 2025, whatever that is. And if conservatives get in, they'll have their own Project 2025, right? They have theirs. And currently the corporate Democrats have theirs. So at my word, no. I think it's just what they're going to try to do no matter what. Whether they write this thing up or not, if conservatives get in power, they will try to make the government more conservative. Of course they will. And they're going to try to be more aggressive. Democrats would too. Progressives would too. Wouldn't matter. Corporatists, progressives, conservatives, they're all trying to do it now. You've watched how the court has made decisions that make it more corporate friendly. You've seen it. So no, I guess it shows their plans up front, but it wasn't like we didn't know. So no. And the next thing is, sadly or not, depending upon your view on this, the system is so broken and so bloated and so corrupt, they'll never get it done. Never get it done. They would have to literally overthrow, overdo some, I'm getting canceled already. They would have to have something really big happen to make that work. And if the system were to collapse in general, I'm not sure I'm happy about that either, to tell you the truth. I think we do want to make some changes, and that might be a way of doing it. So I'm not that concerned about it, to be forward with you. I don't think it can happen. I think corporate Democrats, corporate Republicans are already doing their own, making it more and more corporate. And I think if progressives got in charge, they'd make it more progressive. I think they would just keep doing it. I don't think there's any difference. Just my view. So I don't talk about it much. I think Project 2025 is what Democrats will use when Trump is gone instead of Orange Man Bad. Right now, Democrats are using Orange Man Bad. And it's working still. Still works. Orange Man Bad still works. So they're using Orange Man Bad. And now, because what happened recently at the National Association of Black Journalists, now it's Orange Man Racist. They've been using that forever too. They're going to keep using it. That's not going to stop. I think Project 2025 will be the equivalent of Orange Man Bad whenever Trump leaves. They'll just call it that instead. Neither party is going to fix anything. They will just keep telling you other guy is evil. And I think Project 2025 is just that. I know some of you may disagree. I'm happy to hear that. But if you think I'm wrong, you can tell me. Joel says, Jimmy Carter is the best ex-president ever. Yes. Agreed. 100%. When he became ex-president, he was like building people houses and stuff, like just giving stuff away. It was amazing. I completely agree. Best ex-president ever. 100%. Just great. And didn't get involved in stuff. Just kept his mouth shut and just kept helping. They're like, the world's ending. He's like, I got a house to build. Grab a hammer, putting a nail in someone's house. Like, excellent ex-president. No question. 100%. So Michael says, Russia and Belarus blocked from competing. Silly. It's silly. I think that's silly. Just play. Let it go. Who cares? So, all right. I'm Sigma says, kids are no longer encouraged to compete in school. In fact, it seems to be looked down upon, and I think it's why the Olympics isn't as popular. I was wondering about that, right? Does the youth, like I think about my kids. I have two kids, 120 and 114. And they don't talk about competition much. It's not a thing. They don't talk about it very much at all. I don't know, because they're girls. Maybe is that a difference? I don't know. But my oldest played softball, excuse me, and basketball. And it was nice to win, but there wasn't I remember even when she'd win trophies, everyone got a trophy. Competition was looked down upon. Everybody's a winner. Is that it? Maybe. I don't know. So Carter's getting good PR tonight. Andrew says Carter's post-presidential work on the Habitat for Humanity was stellar. Yes, and yes. 100% true. Yes, 100%. So That libertarian lady says, I saw on Fox News that libertarians are already getting blamed for whichever side loses this election. That is accurate, right? I know a lot of people are mad at Angela, who is the chair of the LP, but something she said, whether you like her or not, is 100% true. She said, libertarians, our group, will decide this election. She is correct. Libertarians will decide. That's absolutely true. They will decide. We are the biggest chunk of all the we're the biggest chunk of the non-affiliated, and most of us vote, right? Most libertarians actually go out and vote. A lot of non-affiliated don't vote. Most libertarians do. If Trump loses by 10,000 votes here or wins 10,000 votes there, a chunk of those will be libertarian votes, either for him or against him. So yes, I do think that's true. Fox would think that, and it's accurate. I think they think that, and it's also accurate. Rick says, I think it was both, since the Feast of Dionysus is in fact a parody of the Last Supper. Wait a minute. Is that true? Didn't the Feast of Dionysus come before the Last Supper? I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that one. So, yes. Where was I? Morgan says, like Disney with their movies, modern audiences. People should know their audience, Morgan, regardless. Joel says, side note, I haven't been getting notifications for the Sharpe Way Allowed to Shop the way I used to. Yes, I have been horribly shadow banned, as is always. That is the norm, guys. That's the norm. Mike has been telling me to go to Rumble for months, and I may follow him because I do well on Twitter. But YouTube, I get slaughtered. YouTube does not want this. YouTube just wants to basically be videos of how to build a doghouse and how to fix your computer. That's all they want to do. They don't want to do any of this. So it is tough. So I'm working on it. Since you brought that up, you can help me out with my awesome AMA. Click the like button so that more people see it. Do that. Please click the like button. If you haven't clicked it, it's because you hate me and now I'm mad at you. So please click the like button. If you're watching this on X or Twitter, retweet this right now, please. If you want to support me, you can. You can super chat me if you want to on YouTube, or become a member on YouTube, which will get me rocking and rolling. More members, the better. It's $4.99 per month. And I'm good looking, so it's worth it. Just because I'm good looking. You pay for beauty. $5 a month for beauty. Not too shabby. You can do that, or you can just click the like button. That's free. Not even $1 to click. Doesn't hurt your finger. Well, could, but won't hurt your finger. So even better. So yes. All righty. Let me see if I can grab a couple more of these. The guys give me a lot of them. I appreciate it. Mike says, did you know that the French opening guy had a guy walking through with his genitalia out? Yes, I did see that. That's my point, right? And yeah, I did see that. 100%. And Joseph goes on to say, there are several people that I know that aren't watching the Olympics at all because of the opening ceremonies. Yeah. Now, to be forward, I get it. And I think, to be forward with you, I think that's the right answer, right? If you don't like it, don't watch it. I'm in. Do it. Don't like it, don't watch it. But it doesn't bother me personally. If I'm not watching the Olympics, but it has nothing to do with the opening ceremonies. I don't care. If I wanted to watch the Olympics, I would watch them. I wouldn't care about the opening ceremony at all. It wouldn't matter to me one single bit. I'm not interested in the Olympics, to tell you the truth. I'm just not interested. It doesn't motivate me. There aren't things that I want to see. And the next point is, I want to bring this up. Jennifer brings it up. So maybe I'm off here, but Jennifer says, no, don't care, but it's fun seeing clips of amazing talent. And maybe that's a second piece. Jennifer, I think you're right. I don't feel like I have to watch the Olympics. I feel like anything cool will come across my feed. Like, why sit there and watch the full basketball game when if something happens, it's going to come across my Twitter or my Facebook, something is going to pop up somewhere, so I'll see it, right? If something bad happens or cool happens, I'm going to find that anyway. I think that may be a killer for the Olympics, right? Why watch the full thing when I could just instead get the clips? And it works either way. So I'm with you, Jennifer. That's why I'm not watching. Do I know what's happening? Yes, because I'll be on Twitter, I'll be on TikTok, I'll be on Facebook, and or someone just literally will text something to me or put something in my DM. Hey, did you see this? It'll pop up anyway. Someone on my team will holler at me. One of you guys will say something during one of the lives. So I'll get the details anyway, regardless of that. I think it's true. So yeah. Let me grab a couple of these members. How are you, Rick? Thank you for becoming a member. I appreciate it. Every membership counts. Thank you so much. Yes. Lucy says, here you go, Larry, for putting up with my shit. Happy Saturday. Keep it up. You know you can come back whenever you want. I'm good. You and I are good. Happy. Thank you for that. I do appreciate it. Yes, of course. We are all good. So she goes on to say, I'm sure there are communists in China that are against religion, but they don't make that center of Olympics the West a disgrace. I think that point, you know what? You bring up a very interesting point. It is rare today, at least today, I don't know if that's true forever, rare today to find other cultures who will so often insult themselves like Western cultures do right now. There's almost like a self-hating streak in a point to so many people that I see. To your point, right? Even if you're mad about parts of your culture, of your government, and I'm mad at lots of parts of my government. I'm mad at lots of parts of my culture, lots of them. It doesn't mean that I would insult them daily and also in front of others. And the example I'll give, I lived in Japan for many years, lived in Japan for 4 years. I learned more about being American when I was overseas, Lucy, than when I was here, right? Like I learned more about what it was to be American being overseas. And when I lived overseas, I did see many holes in American society that I thought, oh, Japan does this better. Oh, China does this better. I was in China for many months. I've been in Korea, Philippines. And there are certain things they do better than we do. That's just true. There are certain things they do better than us. It doesn't mean that America's bad. It doesn't mean I have to insult America. I can just go, oh, you know, these things, they do better. Maybe we should find a way to do it better or whatever, right? It could be a conversation. But I didn't just dismiss or attack or insult. It wasn't, and you know, again, to be forward also, the other part, I took my first 7 years as an adult as a Marine. So I think there was a bit of patriotism that was kind of ingrained in me. And I still have. Look, I literally have the tattoo. Like it's never going to go away. I'll always be a Marine. So I think maybe that could be part of it also. I have no problem. I do it all the time. Lucy, I know you do it too. We all, and we have a right to. We can insult, we can criticize our government, our officials, even our culture if we want to. But it's not like this is our being. But I do see some people who like that's their being. That everything is about how bad the West is. It's how bad it is. I do see it. And I feel like it does more harm than good. I think the future will tell, right? Time will tell whether I'm right on that. But I think just saying America bad, West bad, Christianity bad, whatever, just saying that, I feel there's more harm than good than saying, hey, we have some holes in our system. This doesn't work well. We've got to fix this. This is wrong. Hey, these guys over there, they do a better job of this than we do. Let's fix this. We suck at this. They're good at this. Why don't we look what are they doing? That to me makes a whole lot more sense. And that's why you see me constantly with ideas, policies to try to make what we have better versus just going, it's done. America sucks. So, or the West sucks or whatever, religion sucks, whatever, right? I agree with you completely. Yes. So Missy says, I love watching Olympics, but not just for the USA. I love the dedication the athletes give, the discipline they live. Agreed. I like the underdogs, right? I like the obviously the most famous one, the cool running one with the Jamaican bobsled team, right? That was, of course, the most famous one. But I love when I'm like, who's this guy from South Korea? He's doing what? He's a boxer. He's going to win? Okay. And I love if he like wins or even does well. Like, I love the underdog stuff. I do. I like rooting for the underdog. So I'm with you on that one. Yes. So, all right. Grab a couple more of these. Wow, a lot of you guys. Thank you so much for the back and forth. I appreciate this. Robert says, the only sport that I watch consistently out of an Olympic context is tennis. But I've been keeping up with gymnastics, diving. Who knew Mexico had a good diving team? Yes, they dive off the cliffs in Mexico, right? Track and field shooting, etc. Yeah, the shooting guy is great. I completely agree. The shooting guy is great. Yes. All right. Sigma says, I feel that the time is coming when schools get decentralized. Thoughts? No. I wish that were true, my friend. I think the idea, if you follow me at all, I'm all about decentralization. All about it. Localization. I'm all about it. I see no chance. The reverse. I see us doubling, tripling down. What happens when any system, whether it's a school system, whether it's a government system, any system, when they start to lose control, they triple down on control versus the reverse, right? And I'll give you another. As I said, I'm a trainer, so I do for a living, right? So when I'm doing leadership, when you're not getting what you want out of your leaders, people go, I got to, check them down. But I said, the opposite. What do you mean? I'm not getting what I want. Give them more rope. What? Yes. Give your leaders more rope. Let them go. Why? Because those who want to work and get stuff done, they'll come back, go, what's going on, boss? How do we do this? I got this idea. They'll start doing it. And someone just lay around doing nothing. Those are the ones you fire. You know who to fire, not by locking down. You know who to fire by letting it go. That's how you know who to fire. If I've got 6 executives and stuff's not working and I lock it down more, what happens? The executives who were crappy fall back to my lot. They go, that's the reason why I was good. I did what you said. They fall back to that. The good executives try to get out of the system because they've been doing well anyway. They begin to rebel. Now I lose my good executives. If I instead just go, okay, you know what? It's not working. You guys tell me what's up. I stop pulling away, putting down long-term goals and having them come up with answers. The crappy executives don't know what to do. They begin to fail. They leave on their own and you know who to fire. The good executives start stepping up. Same thing with schools. Schools are failing. Lock down more money, more failures. We've seen that since 1980. It's exactly the opposite. What I teach in leadership is what I teach in the government. It's the same thing. You want to know who to get rid of and how. It's not by locking down. It's the opposite, letting go. So I want it to do what you're doing. I don't see it there at all. Now, do I see some bit of school choice? Yes. But while school choice is wonderful, it's nice, it is still heavily controlled by government and also heavily centralized. I would rather see less centralized government, less centralized schooling. I think over time that makes things much better. Right now, our schools fail constantly and then keep locking them down. It doesn't work. I hope I answered that question for you. So, yes. Let's see here. Robert says, is it just me or are people surprised that so many Asians have placed really high in marksman events? I mean, they are known for gymnastics, diving, badminton, table tennis, but shooting. The issue you'll find is you look at the number of actual contestants. Is that what they're called? Athletes in the Olympics. Many Asian countries have a whole lot of people competing. They're going to get medals. Yeah, they're going to get medals. It's a lot. Joseph says, what do you think of the 40-second boxing match between the man and the woman? I thought it was disgusting. If I remember right, the man is actually a woman. If I remember right. I didn't follow this totally 100%, but I think you mean the Algerian. I think, but she's got some, if I remember the story right, I'm sure someone will correct me. She has some type of medical issue. I may be getting it wrong, but some type of medical issue where she has high levels of testosterone or something like that, to where she failed some test before, her testosterone was too high or something. So I think it's terrible letting her compete because of that. In other words, if that's true, and the problem is there's so many stories. Assuming that story is true, and it may not be, but it's that she has this condition to where she has too much testosterone to pass this test. Again, I don't know if that's true. I'm assuming that's true. Of course you shouldn't have her compete, right? Because, and here's the issue. Some of you will be mad at me, but I'm being very forward about this. Does someone have a right, and I need to be very clear in my language here, to compete? 100% no. It's not a right. Should someone be able to? 100%. Yes. Everyone should be able to compete. I agree. We should strive for that. 100%. But you should not use the word right, because now it's forced. Now you have to find a way. Now it's your right. No. Should we be going out of our way to get the most people to compete? 100% yes. I don't want to call it a right. That makes it horrible at that point. When you make something a right, it doesn't get better. It just becomes more expensive. That's how it works. Making something a right does not make it better, does not open up for anybody. It just makes things more expensive. That's all it does. So I want to be clear on that piece. Do I think people should be able to compete? Of course, to the best of their ability. Of course. Absolutely. Now I'm going to come out of the Olympics for a second and go to the private sector and then move it to the Olympics. In a case of, say, the example would be like the NBA, the NFL, Major League Baseball, right? Okay, if there's an NBA, it's a WNBA. So should there be a trans issue or whatever the case may be, men, women, whatever, going to WNBA? Why did we make WNBA? You might go, well, so that women could compete, right? Yes, that would be the reason why. However, it's not for them to compete. That's not true. I want to be clear. That's not true. The NBA is the NBA. It's not the NBA. It's the NBA. There's no gender issue in the NBA. You can be a woman in the NBA. You can be trans. You can be whatever. There's no gender issue. Major League Baseball, NBA, NFL, they're not a male league. They are the league. And as long as you are good enough and you follow whatever, they have rules on like how old you have to be and you have to go to high school or not. Each one has different rules on that, right? Whatever. But if they draft you, you can play. There is literally no gender issue in any of those leagues. They are the league that anyone can compete in. We made a WNBA as a safe space. I'm not joking. That's why we made it. That's why we made many of these. That's why Title IX exists, to make safe spaces. That's why they did it. Because you can compete wherever you want. You can. Women can be on these teams. They want to. But we made special women's leagues. Or in the case of golf, lady, right? I think that's right. I think that's correct. I'm not a golfer. I think that's correct. So if that's the reason, a safe space, if that's the reason, then anyone who doesn't fit directly into that safe space world needs to compete in the normal, regular world, the everything world, the universal world. And it makes some people unhappy. But that's the reason. Or don't have it. Don't have a WNBA. Everyone plays the NBA. Good luck. Whoever's best is best. If you go that route and go, well, Larry, it's not fair. Okay. Well, then I want an ONBA. Old man NBA. I get to play in that one, and I can whip some ass in that one. So I want that one. You got to be like 50 or 60 to play in that one. That's the one I want to play in. We got to make an ONBA. Oh, no, of course not, right? Of course not. You don't make it so I have a right to compete. I could, in theory, not in actual practice, compete in the NBA. I could, if somehow I could get. Well, I guess actually the only way I can compete is if I bought a team. But I mean, in theory, I could compete too. But in reality, I'm never getting picked. I'm never getting drafted. Again, unless I buy the team and put myself in the team. I could do that, I guess. So I better make some money. Guys, I need some more memberships. I can buy an NBA team so I can play. Otherwise, I'm not playing. So I do think that's an issue that we have to worry about. But I'll go one step further. Didn't they know there'd be a backlash? Even if you have rules that say the Algerian can box. Didn't you know there was going to be a backlash? Didn't you know that was going to happen? Of course. So I hope that answers your question at least. I know some people don't like that, but yes. So Roy says, so Russia cannot compete in the Olympics, but the UN has them heading up the U.S. Security Council. Yeah. Yes. Absolutely. Yes. Thank you for that, Roy. I love that one. That's good. Liberty Lady says, off topic, but how about the shenanigans going on with Colorado LP trying real hard to keep Chase off the ballot and Karen Harlow's having an awakening to some issue with the LP National? Again, I'm going to be unpopular with this one. I don't care. I don't. Doesn't matter. For all you guys, this is inside baseball libertarian for a moment. I warned the Libertarian Party and I warned the delegates months ago before we even came to the convention. And then at the convention, I'm on record. I told you all, I warned every one of you. If you don't pick Lars Mapstead, who was the guy I gave you, who literally was part of no caucuses, self-funded, could unite the party, great team, great plan, all good stuff. If you don't pick him, doesn't matter who else you pick. If you don't pick him, 3 things will happen. And I said this out loud. It's on record. 1, you will not raise even $1 million. And Chase is not going to raise even $1 million. Not even close. Coming nowhere near. You will come in 5th behind Jill Stein. You said already, even in the polling, he's not doing very well. Right? And, my words, the internal fighting in the party will be legendary. That's what I said. And what's happening? All 3. All 3. The party wanted to fight. The party fell into the same fight America's fighting into. Fighting culture wars as Rome burns. Worrying about stuff that doesn't matter as Rome burns. And the LP said, we want to do the same thing. We want to fight culture war. Great. Now you're fighting a culture war while Rome burns. I feel bad for Chase. Chase is in the middle of this. I guess his team told him, don't worry, we can fix it. No, you can't. Larry Sharpe's right very often. I'm not always right, but I'm usually right. That's why people pay me, because I'm usually right. Not always again, but usually. So when I warned them what would happen, particularly when I've been through this before, more than once, I've been at every one of these events since 2016, directly involved, running for something every time. I told him what was going to happen. You wanted to fight culture war. Now you're fighting culture war. You won, I guess. That is my answer. I don't care. And what does it matter? I don't mean to be flippant, but I guess I am. What does it matter? Chase is on the ballot in Colorado. And? He's not. And? Literally nothing will change. Nothing. It is irrelevant. Nothing will change. He's on the ballot. Awesome. He's not on the ballot. Awesome. I can't vote for him. He will not be on the ballot in New York State, nor Illinois. Why? Because the LP, again, in 2022, decided it was more important to fight culture war than to support my campaign. If I had gotten on the ballot in 2022, we would have had ballot access in New York State forever, in perpetuity. Forever, perpetuity. Yes, now we'll never have it again. We will now never have ballot access in New York State as libertarians ever again. As long as I live in New York State, I will never be able to vote for libertarian ever again because of the failures of 2022. I'm not joking. That's an exaggeration. I told everybody that in 2022, and they ignored me again. The LP ignores me at their peril. And they do, because they would rather fight culture war. They'd rather say, I beat the Mises Caucus, or I beat the COC people. See, I'm a cool person. Good, you're cool as can be. No ballot access in Illinois, probably forever. No ballot access in New York, probably forever. And he may be off the ballot in 4 or 5 states. And it will not matter at all. We are now gloriously irrelevant. It doesn't matter. And I know that sounds horrible. It's still true. It is irrelevant whether he's on a ballot in Colorado or not. It means literally nothing. Either way, I can't vote for him. He will never be in New York. No libertarian will ever be on a ballot in New York again unless I decide to do something. Unless I get off my ass and in 2026, yet again, go into the goddamn trenches, fight this battle again without any help from the LP. With none. I fought it on my own again. I was $100,000 in debt at 2018, $40,000 in debt for 2022. And now I go back again? What am I in debt? $60,000 after that one? So I know I sound flippant angry, but I don't care. It doesn't matter to me at all. If he gets on, awesome. If he doesn't, awesome. I don't care. Doesn't affect me at all. Will never affect me ever again. What am I going to do? So anyway, just telling you the truth how I feel. That's it. All right, hold on. Let me see if I can go down here. Chris says, the available evidence suggests the Algerian fighter is actually female. People that don't know the facts need to stop until they actually know the fact. That's what I thought too, Chris. I thought I heard that. I thought, if I remember the story, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, the story was she's a female, but she has some kind of genetic condition that does something for her, something. I forgot what it was, but something like that. And my point is, if you're going to say that's okay, if that's your goal, you got to know there's going to be pushback, right? It's going to be something bad there. So, yes. Rick says, are there plans to save the Libertarian Party, or does it need saving? I do think we can save it. I do. But it takes us deciding to finally stop doing culture war stuff. We need somebody for them to get behind. They can put their culture war stuff away, right? It's what I tried to give them this year. They didn't want it. Hopefully by 2026 or 2028, the party will go, okay, fine. Who you got? And we'll put somebody ahead who will actually be able to get everyone behind. If that happens, libertarians are like Mongols. When the Mongolian, Genghis Khan says, hey, let's go get China or whatever, we all get together and go get them. But then when it's conquered, we all get mad and fight each other. That's us. We're fighting each other right now. We'll see. So, yes. Libertarian says, so in other words, Republicans will grow the government just as fast as liberals with Agenda 25. Yeah, probably. Probably. I don't know. Look, the reality of it is, generally speaking, each side just wants to get their stuff going. So they'll get their stuff going. So, yes. All righty. Andrew says, this is going to sound rather silly, but are age verification laws for adult websites a breach of freedom of speech like the ones enacted in Omaha, Utah? It's a good question, right? And if it was federal, I think it's obvious no, right? You don't want a federal piece. But state seems to be something that states could do. I mean, they do age consent laws. What is if they decide serious things like murder, all those, that's what the states decide. So I don't think it's crazy in that regard at all for states to do so. So probably not, I would think. And again, with the exception, I mean, we've made some dumb rules, but generally speaking, most rights, not all, but most rights, we accept 100% for adults. We don't accept all rights for kids, right? The Second Amendment, in generally speaking, is not right for kids. Adults have that right. It doesn't say adults, right? But we assume it's adults. So freedom of speech, you could easily say it's for adults. So I don't think it's crazy at all. I get why they're doing it. I don't think it breaches anything. I could see why people wouldn't want it. I could see it. I don't see it as a breach at all. I think that if a state wants to decide, hey, look, as long as verification isn't like, whatever, 50 or something, as long as whatever, as long as the age, it's an age that's logical within whatever the state laws are, right? In my view, having you drink or whatever at 21 seems dumb. If you're an adult at 18, you're adult at 18. Right now, when we couldn't vote till we were 21, I get it. Then don't do anything till you're 21. You're considered an adult at 21. But once you say you can vote at 18, well, then maybe that's how it is. Everything should be 18. Any case, to answer your question, I don't think it's crazy at all. No, if a state wants to do so, they deal with consent laws. It's fine. I think it's totally fine. So anyway, hope that was clear. All right. Roy says, Project 2025 is not about conservatism, but about religious nationalism, consolidating religious control. That's why the Heritage puts forth only Catholic-raised Supreme Court justices. I think there's an overlap, if that makes any sense. I don't think conservatism is about Catholic-raised Supreme Court justices, but I do think there's an overlap. What I mean by that is, many of you may or may not know the history behind this. Many years ago, law was really run by WASPs. And what I mean by that is white Anglo-Saxon Protestants. All the white Jew firms literally would not let Catholics into their firms. I mean, you couldn't do it. They wouldn't let them in. They wouldn't do it. And at the same time, you had massive amounts of influx of Catholics and Jews coming to the country. Their families working very hard so they can educate their kids. So you always have a massive amount of Catholics and Jews being educated. Catholics meaning Italians, coming from Southern Italy, of course, some Poles, but heavily Italian-based. Irish, tons of Irish coming also, right? Coming to America. The Jews coming from Eastern Europe coming over here. So when they're all coming over here, they're starting to get educated. And the white Jew firms are like, we don't want you. You guys are Catholics and Jews. We're WASPy people. You can't be here. And so what did they do? They started their own firms. And what you found was huge swaths of Catholics and Jews becoming lawyers, becoming powerful lawyers, becoming insanely good litigators, becoming great because they had to, right? And they were entrepreneurial, they were doing it. So now what do you have at this age? Tons of people. Look at the Supreme Court. Lots of Jews, lots of Catholics. Yes, why? Not because they were hand-picking them, because they were the best talent. That's a thing, right? WASPy people stopped doing it, and they were only in the white Jew firms. Catholics and Jews were killing it, kept doing great. And so we have so many that are lawyers and so many that are good lawyers, right? It's not because Catholics or Jews are special, because that's the circumstances they came into. They did the best with what they could do, and boom, this is what you have. It's one of the reasons why that's there. Now, I think to your point, many of the Catholic judges went to Catholic school. That's a common thing also. If even they haven't gone to Catholic school, many of them are conservative. That's true. Many of the Catholic court justices many of them, not all obviously, are conservative. Many of them are. So that's why they pick them. So I think it becomes an overlap. This is my view. I think it's an overlap more than a conscious decision. Hey, let's get Catholic Supreme Court judges. It's more like let's get the best conservative talent we can find who happen to be Catholic. I think that's what's happening versus them trying to get Catholics in. I don't know if that made any sense to you. Right? I hope it did. I was trying to walk down that road. I think that's what's happening. So, yes. All right. James says, I think it's funny that Trump is just now talking about using Bitcoin to solve the national debt, especially since Robert Kennedy has been talking about that for quite some time now. He blatantly stole Bobby Kennedy's plan. I was at the Bitcoin conference. I was there at the Bitcoin conference in Nashville when both Bobby Kennedy Jr. and Trump spoke. He Trump literally stole Bobby Kennedy's plan. Not even close. Oh, just took it. He just took it. And the problem is more people hear Trump than Bobby Kennedy Jr. People now think, well, that's Trump's plan. No, he stole it. Openly, blatantly just stole it. Yes, just stole it. Gone. That's all it was. So there we go. You're totally correct. You are totally correct. So that libertarian lady says, are you back on Tuesdays at 1 for radio show? I am. Last week, they did not have a show. They did a remote thing somewhere. I'm back. For those who don't know, every Tuesday at 1, I do a remote show out of Rochester, New York, WYSL. I do an hour live. It's a call-in show if you want to call in and say hi. It's a terrestrial show that I also show online. So you just watch it regular. So hope that was good. So, all righty. Jennifer says, my mom said he was a horrible POTUS. I was a little kid. I'm not going to say that. He is literally in hospice now. I'm going to say that he was a fine man. Done. That's all I'm going to say. He was a fine man. So, yes. All right. Let's see if I can keep going down here now. Grab a couple more. All right. Shelley says, great observation. Competition has been demonized. In some cases, it has. In some cases, it has. Robert says, why won't third parties come together to pull the resource into a third-party convention? They can use it as a recruitment tool to help build an on-ramp for third-party access. I'm happy to tell you that. The reason is, remember, if people just want to win and have power, they're Republicans and Democrats. That's how that works. The vast majority of third-party people are staffed by people who either are hardcore ideologues or single-issue ideologues. It's just common. And that's not an insult. That's just a fact. Right? And when you find people like that, they are far more concerned about their issue or issues, far more concerned about ideology, and sometimes, sadly, virtue signaling. That can be a problem in third parties, too, caring only about virtue signaling because they never think they're going to win. That could be a horrible downside, depending upon the group. That does happen, too. Well, if you add that to the people, why would they come together? Right? Why would they do the thing that you're asking? Why wouldn't they instead do what the DSA tried to do? I'm not sure if they were effective at it, but DSA tried to kind of become part of the Democratic Party. The Tea Party tried to become part of the Republican Party. And what happened? Pooling their resources together, they became basically inept. Nothing happened, right? The DSA is not controlling the Democratic Party, and the Tea Party is not controlling the Republican Party. They basically just kind of did that. So why would a Green Party? Now, we do sometimes come together. I know the Green Party here in New York State. I know Howie Hawkins, Jill Stein. I know all those guys, Gordon Mateo. I know all those people. We will often fight together to get on the ballot, right? Then we will come in for something like that. But the current lawsuit now, Bobby Kennedy Jr.'s PAC is also helping out. So is the Green Party. So is the Libertarian Party to try to change ballot access here in New York State. And maybe it will work. Maybe I'm completely wrong and it will work and we'll be on. Could happen. But we do come together for things like that. We do. I actually have been, even the LaRouche people, Diane Sayer and I were actually in the courtroom together just because we're trying to make the third parties move forward to get in the ballot. So for ballot access stuff, we do get together. But just generally, how are you going to get together forwardly, to be forward, without somebody who can keep them all together? That's the issue. And the second thing is all the cash. The problem that most third parties have, and you see it now in the Green Party, I think, more than others, and the Libertarian Party too, now. You know what? Now it's the Libertarian Party too, but it wasn't in the past. Libertarian Party prior to recently was much more open to having a decent leader than they are now. They were in the past more. Green Party has always struggled for this. You'll find people who are like single issue zealots, like I'm all about the Second Amendment or something like that. You get somebody who is going on top who's like, I don't know if I'm a Second Amendment absolutist. And they go, oh, that's it. Don't love you. It's the end. It's over. They can agree on everything else, but not be an absolutist on your issue, and the third party person will be like, I'm out, done, walking away. That happens constantly. That doesn't really happen in Democratic Republican parties. It doesn't happen. That's not a thing. If you're a Democrat, you tend to just hate Republicans, so you vote Democrat. If you're a Republican, you tend to hate Democrats, you vote Republican. But if you're a Libertarian, you hate them all. In fact, your own people too. If you're Green, same thing, hate them all. In fact, your own people too. And if you're not good enough, then you can walk away. And I think that's one of the reasons why. I hope that makes sense. So, all right. Hold on. But Angela wants Libertarians to vote for Trump. I'm voting for Chase Oliver. Yeah, I do think. Look, if you can vote for Chase, that's wonderful. Not against it. Vote for who you want. No worries. My point is, it's not going to make any difference. I believe Angela is trying to make a difference. And the reason why I've shifted a lot on this is I was worried. I wasn't against, but I was worried having Trump, RFK, Vivek at the Libertarian Party convention. I wasn't against it. I was worried. I thought it could backfire. It didn't at all. It was a great thing for us. In the long run, it helped tremendously. I'm not prepared to count Angela out at all. She may be right on this. I may change my mind November 6th or 7th. I may change my mind. But until now, I'm letting it go. She could be right. She was right on that one. I sat back and said, okay, let me see, because I was worried, but she's right on that. I'm going to let it go. See if she's right. I'm going to let it go. Whatever it is. I'm just going to let it go. And we'll see what happens. Look, I might be here in late November going, what the hell was she thinking? And I might be going like, well done, Angela, home run. Could be. We'll find out. That's all I'm saying. So, all righty. Grab a couple of these. All right. Some of these I think aren't for me. I think they're all back and forth. There we go. Back and forth. Yes. All right. See if I can grab a couple of these. Well, that's someone else too. There we go. Lila says, I'm not watching the Olympics at all. Wow. Okay. There we go. Sigma says, if I remember correctly, the original Olympians competed naked. Well, you wanted to not hide anything. So I guess kind of, yeah. So I think kind of, yeah. Absolutely. So Joel says, cool clips of the Olympics, like the Chinese marriage proposal. That marriage proposal, I saw that too. That was very nice. That was very nice. See, that's what I mean. I don't have to watch. I'm going to get that clip. So, yes, I'm going to get that clip, 100%. So, yes. Robert says, don't know what shadow banning means, but I got a Twitter alert that I was labeled disinformation after posting an interview between Antonio Moore and Sherry Peoples discussing Kamala's truancy policy. Shadow banning is when they don't ban you, but they make sure you are not seen. So all of a sudden now, you don't get people knowing that you don't get a notification, or people don't see you, don't go on their feed. I gave up on most of this, believe it or not, in 2020, and I've just been doing my show because I enjoy it and I like you guys. But I mean, I'm horribly shadow banned, and I don't think it's ever going to go away. In 2020, I started talking about how the lockdowns were bad, mandates were bad. If you were watching my show back then, you saw I stream on like 8 different platforms. So some of you say, well, there's only like 8 people watching, 25 people watching, 100 people watching. On this platform, there's 8 platforms going at the same time. On one platform, I would get 5,000 views. 5,000, one platform. Overnight, I get less than 500. It was a 90% decrease overnight. Now, I have to stream on 8 platforms to get the same amount I used to get on one. And I wrote them as always, what's going on? Oh, they gave me whatever. Oh, no, it's X or Y. They gave me some bullshit excuse, of course. They still want me to be heard. That's why I bug you all the time to click. Why do you have to do it 85 times during the show? Click the like button. Share it. Why? Because I'm horribly shadow banned. If you don't share it, nobody's seeing this. That's how it works. I wish it wasn't true. That's what shadow banning is. They do not want me to see it. I ran for goddamn governor, and they don't want me to see. They just don't want it. They don't care. They're like, well, you're not one of our guys, which is why it makes me keep thinking I got to go to Rumble. I met the Rumble guys when I was at the Bitcoin convention, so they were kind of wooing me. So I might make the shift over. It's possible. But yeah, it's just that's what shadow banning means. They don't want you to be seen. That's why I bug you for this. Is why I keep asking you to keep doing it. Click the subscribe button. Every little bit counts. You see it grow a little bit more the more time people do it. So hope that makes sense to you at least. In fact, my daughter was like, Dad, you didn't get shadow banned. I said, what do you mean? You probably just bad at what you do. You're just terrible at what you do. You're not good for us youngsters. I said, okay, check out my stuff. I had to go and look at all my stuff. She's like, wow, you're shadow banned. Yes. Nothing. I did nothing that would change my style that would drop 90% of my viewership in a week. I didn't like murder somebody. I don't know, flash somebody. Nothing would have made 90% of my audience all of a sudden not see me in 7 days. In a week's time, nothing. So that was just literally just turn it down. It's gone. So yes. Jennifer says, my mom is in love with the USA. I'm not. I think older people still have that. I do. I think older people still feel that. And again, I'm a Marine, so I will always have that in my head. But yeah. She goes on to say, I don't like the empire and the wars. Agreed. My mom suggests other countries are wanting to attack us. I see things differently. Our government is in the business of war. Sorry. Why are you sorry? Everything he said is true. Everything he said is true. It's true. And there are a lot of people who think we have to be fighting wars, blah, 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 blah. They're all wrong, but they believe it. They believe it. A lot of people think, oh, no, they believe the old, if we don't fight them over there, we'll fight them over here. Utter garbage, 100% not true. But lots of people believe it. They believe it. We have to have 750 bases. Otherwise, they'll all attack us. 100% not true. Absolutely not true. In fact, you know what I'm going to do? I will do a show on how our military should be. What we're doing with the military. I'll do a show in a couple of weeks on that one. So I can let you know what our military should be. Because it's not what it is now. That's for sure. So, yes. Rick goes on to say, I don't think the Algerian boxer is a guy. If she is, it's covered up conspiracy. Yeah, I think she's a woman who has some kind of issue. I think that's true. So, yeah, I think that's true. All right. Jennifer says, it's about testosterone. Testosterone makes energy, strength, and muscle. I know because I'm almost 50. I probably lost half of one mind and need some back. There we go. Yeah, no. I think that's the issue. Yes. I think that's correct. Yes. Joel says, most think calling something a right makes it free. Yeah, it's the opposite. It makes it expensive. How do I know this? In New York State, we made education a right. Now, that was bad for many reasons. Reason number one, you made a right for a minor, for a kid, right? So if you have a right for a minor or a kid, you've just said the state can step in and parent. That's what you've just done. And that's what New York State has done. It's what many states have done. They step in and take your kid because you don't educate them effectively. Why? You made it a right. So the government has to make sure it gets done the right way with the rights that they say so. Number one. Number two, now it's more expensive because now every kid has a right to an education. So if it's not the right way, you have to accommodate them in some way, shape, or form. They can now sue you because you didn't do it the right way. New York State spends almost 40 grand, we're at 30 some odd $1,000 per kid, the most in the entire country. And we rank maybe halfway point. In certain things, we rank low under 40 out of 51, if you include DC, 51. Yeah, that's bad. Yes. So anyway. All righty, so if I can do here. Let's see here. Morgan says, love him or hate him, Dave Chappelle has a great bit about the WNBA. He has some great stuff. He does. Again, some people don't like him, but he does have some great stuff. Yes, 100%. Lucy says, they're going to have to get their own type of Special Olympics. I don't think so. I don't see a future in that at all. I don't, because two reasons. One, the trans community is a tiny community compared to the rest of the world. There wouldn't be enough there's not enough talented people in that pool. Not because there aren't talented trans people, because the pool is so small. You wouldn't be able to make an Olympics out of it, right? It wouldn't exist. The pool of trans people is just too small to make that happen. So it's not realistic to make that happen. And the second piece, I think, to that is people want to watch it, right? People want to watch the best of the best. So I don't watch the WNBA. I'm not trying to insult the WNBA. I'm just being clear. They don't. That's why I don't watch women's soccer anymore, right? Women's soccer used to be great. Then they decided to become political. Women's soccer screwed itself. They were at a high point where people were actually watching it. people were liking it. Then they said, we're going to become political and we're going to sue you and make us pay you more money. And everyone said, now we're pissed off, we're not watching anymore. And they stopped watching. You were doing good. You should just go play your game. It was good. People were watching it. You would have made more money. But they did the wrong thing. So, yeah. That's it. Devin says, can a woman compete in the NBA, though? Yes, legally, she can. If she is that talented, she can. Absolutely, she can. So, yeah, but they don't, but they could. Lou says, Larry, I play non-competitive pickup soccer with men. That's different than competitive boxing. These people are just nuts and obviously have an agenda. Yes, right, look, if you want to voluntarily play a sport with men, okay, yes, go ahead. I don't have a problem with that. Do what you want. But now you're saying, again, is it a right that you can play with men and they have to, see, now we got a problem. There we go. Now we have a problem. Shelley says they have a senior citizens Olympics. It's just not televised. Is that true? All right, Shelley, now you're making me think. I don't have money to get in here. Okay. I like that. We have to get invite. Okay, maybe. Lucy says, actually, I wish I could see the senior citizen league. Okay, you know what? Maybe I thought of something here. Maybe it's good. Okay, there we go. Joe says, I like the idea of the Olympics being a draft system. Random people are selected and have to go to compete. It would be that's true. So all of a sudden, I got to be a pole vaulter. It might be fun to watch as I kill myself. I mean, that might be something, I guess. But yeah, it might be. Maybe. It could be. It'd be fun for the beginning, at least. So yeah, maybe, I guess. So. All right. Carson says, see Colin Noir's video about the Olympic shooters for more info about why and who are doing well in shooting. One hint, those are air guns, not actual exploding type guns. That's true, yeah. I haven't seen that. Now I will do that. I will look for that. I have not seen that video, but I knew they weren't, regular firearms. I knew that. Yeah. And then they got all the cool things in their eyes and the hand things and stuff. And then Turkish guy with his hand in his pocket. Surprised he didn't turn it sideways. Surprised he didn't do that. So, yes, that's kind of funny. So, all right. David says, Larry's a wise man. Thank you. I appreciate that. I do appreciate that. Yes. All right. The Liberty Lady says, the infighting in the party caused me to also announce all caucuses. MPA, no party. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. 100%. 100%. Yes. All righty. Gene says, write in Chase Oliver. It is useless. I did it right in. And what happened? Nothing. Nothing. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. I wish it did something. It does not. I tried it in 2022. I may sound like I am surrendering. I'm not. This year is a throwaway year. I'm accepting that as true. I have to prep for 2025 and 2026. I gave the right plan and the right team to do it. The party didn't want it. Okay, I'm not mad at it. I'm just not going to jump on board when there's nothing to jump on board for. It's a throwaway year this year. That's what's going to happen. And I said it. People don't want to hear it. Okay. So now I'm going to do other stuff until 2025 or 2026. I'll try to rebuild it again if I can. That's it. So Dave goes on and says, Larry, Libertarian Party is in disarray. It will take years to recover after this. Yes, it will take years. 100%. It will take. You are correct. That's my point. I'm not going to sit here and fight that. It's not worth fighting. It'll move on. And I warned against some inside LP stuff. I warned the people in the LP in 2022 when the Mises Caucus took over. I said, don't worry about it. In 2 years, they're going to struggle because everybody struggles. For those who don't know, every LP position is volunteer. Yes, voluntary. Why don't great people do this? You going to do it for free? Who of you are going to, you know what? Yeah, let me run a national party, get yelled at all day, deal with all kind of stuff for free. Who's going to do that? The entire budget of Libertarian Party, national, is maybe $2 million. The entire national budget. That's what one local Democratic candidate raises in one race. One local Democratic candidate in one race raises what is the entire Libertarian Party budget. Make stuff happen with that for free. Do that. Nobody can. Nobody can. I told people that. I warned them in 2022. Don't worry about it. They're always going to struggle. It's how it works. They're going to struggle. You're going to come back, try to fix it again. It's kind of how it works. I warned the people who hated Mises. I said, you're going to burn down the house that you got to buy back. You're going to buy back a burnt house as you burn it down. And they were, I don't care, culture war, burn it down. Okay, now Chase wins, and now they're fighting about the same way you did. So now you both burn the house down. Again, I warned them all of this, and I said it openly. I got the receipts. I said to everybody, this is going to happen. They didn't want to hear me. Okay. I'm a business consultant for a living. It's how I pay my bills. I watch organizations. I know how they work. I knew this. No one listened. It'll take a couple years. We'll have to fight back again. We'll deal with it. What are you going to do? We'll deal with it. So Jennifer agrees with me. She says culture was horrible. It is, and useless. And useless. David says, if the LP is dead nationally, how do we fight for freedom and liberty and actually get results? Locally. So we do. You see me, I raise money locally all the time for people. All the time. I just had Russ Clark on my show just last week. He's running for county board in Illinois. That's what you do. Illinois, you can't vote for Chase in Illinois. He's not on the ballot. But you can vote if you're in his county. It's Sagma County. Oh, I'm going to say it wrong. I forgot the county. But you can check it out. It's russclark.org if you want to check him out. And you go check it out, and you can vote from locally. So vote locally, right? I say all the time, look, right now we got Mike Ross running in North Carolina. Vote for him. He'll be there. He's on the ballot. Vote for him locally. Why not? I love the idea, right? Got the Nate Snyder running in Florida. Vote for him. 100%. Right? Erica's running in West Virginia. Vote for her. Rainwater running in Indiana. Vote for him. We got people around the country you can still vote for, whatever state you're in. You can. I mean, New York, you can't. Nobody vote from New York. So you can't do that. But other places you can. So just do it. It's all good. So, all right. Sergio says, I heard your show with Dad Talk, Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Yes. I always support that. I always support that stuff. Yes, 100%. 100%. All right. See if I can grab this here. Roy says, companies do not have a right to serve minors. It's true. It's true. Yep. Rights are seen as for adults, not kids. Also see abortion. Ooh, interesting. Interesting. Well, we do make exceptions sometimes. But I'm with you. I see the point. That's the problem, right? Where do you draw that line? As always. Yes. Yeah. All right. All right. Phil says, I could support changing the age of majority to 21 as long as it includes the minimum age to serve in the military. You know, this is a thing that is funny. It's hard to do that. But I get what you're talking about, right? The thing that's weird is it's 21 to drink in, I think, all states now, except on military bases, because nationally it's still 18. So you could get drunk on a base at 18. You go to Europe, you can get drunk at 18. My daughter went to Europe when she was 18 years old. She went to England and got drunk because she could. She couldn't do it here when she came back to America. So it is kind of weird. But I think we have to figure this out. When is someone an adult? Is it 18? Is it 21? What is it? I agree with you. I just don't know how you do that. But I'm with you. If we were to go, look, easy for me, I'm way over 21, so I'm good. But the concept is, when is someone an adult? When are they responsible? Is it 18? Is it 21? Yeah. But then is there a logic for age of consent laws for different things? Right? Is it different for, right, when is it different for drinking versus smoking versus voting? I think it's tough, but I'm agree with you. I could change it. I could change it. So, Lucy says, Libertarians lost me with Javier Milei, but now the Greens lose me with Progressive Stack. Progressive Stack is so dumb. I know people get mad at me about Javier, but I say it before and I still will stay on it. I think you have to give him a year. And I said it on Savvy, and she got mad at me when I said it. She's like, well, people shouldn't have to wait for a year. I said, I don't know any other way around that. I don't know if what he's doing in the long run is going to work until we look back a year later. There's a second piece people don't understand. You might understand, Lucy, but other people don't, for sure. He's also in Argentina. There are certain things he's going to have to do, or he's going to all of a sudden have an accident. And you know what I mean by that? He's going to all of a sudden decide, crazy, he doesn't want to stay above ground anymore. That is my worry. And I'm sure it's his too. So can he be perfect? 100% no, it is impossible to do that and still stay above ground. So there are certain people he's going to have to bend to, certain things just to literally stay above ground. And you might go, Larry, that's BS. I don't think it's BS. I think it's true. I think it has to. Now, does that mean he's as good or as bad as we want him to be? Again, I don't know. I think you have to wait about a year and look back and go, okay, let's look back at a year. Oh my God, it was a disaster. What a mistake. Or, oh my God, this worked. He did a lot of stuff I didn't like, but it worked. And Argentina was in trouble and still is in trouble. And if you're in that much trouble, you can't fix it overnight. You can't. That's impossible. I mean, without horrible violence. And the violence you've seen there, nothing about what it could be. I mean, you'd have to fix it, or to fix it in a way you might want to, would take so much bloodshed that I'm just not okay with. So I think that's how you have to work that. Yes. So she goes on to say, Bobby sucks. I saw him at the Rabbi Shmuley event getting dragged like a dog. I do not like Bobby's stance with Shmuley at all. I agree with you. But I have a huge but on this one. There is literally no other candidate running right now who has any chance of making any impact except him. That's a fact. I agree with what you just said. I can't stand it. I wish it would change. With that in mind, no one else is going to make any change whatsoever. Nothing. No chance of making anything. Nothing. My view is either vote third party or don't vote. That's my view. Vote third party, don't vote. Third party here in New York State are Bobby Kennedy Jr. He's going to get my vote this year. Makes you angry? Be angry at me. I don't care. Libertarian Party could have done its job. It didn't. I failed in 2022. Libertarian Party failed this year. All failures, mine and theirs. But I'm not voting Democrat. I'm not voting Republican. Not. So he's getting it. If he pulls 5%, change everything. He wins a state. The plan that I said was the right plan for the Libertarian Party and Lars Mapstead, nobody else wanted. Chase doesn't want it. Nobody wants that plan. You know who does want that plan? Bobby Kennedy Jr. He wants that plan because that's the right plan, because he knows it's the right plan, and he has tens of millions of dollars to execute that plan, and he can make an actual change. Some of you might say, well, Larry, I would like a Libertarian to run, or I'd like a Green Party person, or I'd like Cornel West to be able to win. Whatever you might like, whatever you might like. If Bobby Kennedy Jr. doesn't win a state, at least one, if not 4 or 5, but at least one, and at least get 5%, never happened. I talked in 2018, and I said, I will break a hole, and others will run through that hole. And that happened. For those of you who know, 2018, after I got ballot access for New York State, 107 people, local people, won across New York State, all Libertarians. Most were fusion candidates, but about 7 or 8 were not, just straight Libertarian candidates, that's all. People ran through their hole. Then the state closed it up. Me and the party, both together, this is my fault too, I'm not pointing a finger at anybody, I'm not pointing at myself. We were not ready for what the system would do to us once we started actually moving forward and making impact. We were not prepared for it. And we failed. Again, me included. I'm not pointing a finger at others, myself too. I was right there. I failed too. We all failed. We were not ready for it. Bobby Kennedy Jr. can break a hole so that now some people can be real. Cornel West, Jill Stein, Chase Oliver, none of them have any chance to get in debate stage at all. Being very forward. I've been through it. I've been watching it. I'm here. Not going to happen ever. Never going to happen. Bobby Kennedy might. If Bobby Kennedy gets in the debate stage, that opens the door to the vast amount of Americans to go, oh, this was way better with three people. This, maybe we should have Chase Oliver and Jill Stein on the debate stage. They won't make it this year, but then next time they run. Not just that, locally. Why do we only have different Republicans at my mayoral race or at my state house race or my whatever? Why don't third party? So while I get what you're saying, I do. I get it. There is nobody who can make any impact except Bobby Kennedy Jr. Usually, sadly, my vote is sadly, it's a virtue signal vote. It's a protest vote. That's usually what my vote is. When I voted, except I believed when I was voting for Gary Johnson that he could get 5% back in 2016. Obviously, that was not true. He only got 3%. But I'm telling you what I believed. I believed that Gary Johnson at that point could get 5%. We can make real impact. That was a real vote. Other than that, most of my votes are just virtue signaling votes. That's what they are. This year, it doesn't have to be. I think Bobby Kennedy Jr. can make impact, break a hole for others to go through. That's what I would tell you. I think that's true. If I'm getting you, I agree with you on the policy. I think you can see my face. I'm 100% with you. But it's that, or I vote for Kamala, or I vote for Trump, or I stay home, or do a protest vote for something. No, this is a chance impact. If you vote for Bobby Kennedy Jr. and he gets 5% of the vote, theoretically, I mean, who knows how they'll actually play the game? He will have qualified for matching funds for the presidential election in 2028. And what does that mean? Will he run again? I don't know. Maybe not. He's getting old. He may not. Who cares? To be fair, I don't care if he does. Maybe he will. I don't know if he will. But even if he does or doesn't, that means his party, We the People Party, is now official. It's real. But when that happens, people can now run independently. There'll be people who want him for president. Now, some of you out there watching like Jesse Ventura. I do too, by the way. Jesse Ventura was asked to run for president. You know what he said? He said, get me 50 state ballot access and I'll do it. Otherwise, I won't. He goes, ballot access stops everybody. Can't do it. Who's the only guy who has a chance at 50 state ballot access this year, Lucy? Only one person has a chance. Bobby Kennedy Jr. Nobody else. Michael, but Larry, I can't stand his policy on X or Y. Me too. Larry, I hate the fact that it's because he has so much money and the name Kennedy. Me too. And still true. Everything I just said is still true. With all the things I just said, it's still true. So maybe yell at me, maybe mad at me. That's where I stand. That's where my head is. I think somebody's got to break a hole. I hoped it would be me. It was me in 2018, but then I couldn't keep the hole open. My fault. 2022, I tried again. Me and the party couldn't do it. 2021 this year, we couldn't do it. We're not getting 50 state ballot access this year. Not happening. It's gone. We had it for 3 cycles in a row. 2012, 2016, 2020. Now gone. And looking at it now, will never come back again. There will be no third party that will ever have 50 state ballot access again. That's not hyperbole. That's not a joke. That's real. Never again. Look at the rules in Illinois, the rules in New York. The rules will be changing now in Alabama, Ohio. Watch, Tennessee, watch. Never again. The only guy who can fix this, to give us any chance of having any third party, you want a good third party, you want a Green Party, you want a Cornell West, Bobby Kennedy Jr. has to get 50 state ballot access and 5%. That happens, the rest can go through. That doesn't happen. Imagine for a second he wins a state, just one state, wins Utah, because Utah Republicans don't like Trump. So they decide to vote for Bobby Kennedy. He gets 30% of the vote, wins a state. Big purple on that map. Purple on that map. That map they show to everybody for the next 4 years. Red and blue, purple. What the hell is that purple? Oh, it's independence. Independence won a state? Yeah. Independence won a state last time. Huh. Makes everybody think we're real. What third-party candidates fight for more than anything else is legitimacy. Bobby Kennedy Jr. does that. So, agreeing with you and what I said is still true. I'm sure you'll be yelling at me now. But at least I'm going to tell you what I feel. As I said, I can have you mad at me. I can have you think I'm wrong or stupid or ignorant, but I'm going to be transparent. You're going to hear why I'm thinking what I'm thinking, and hopefully at least you still trust me. But that's why. So anyway, I'll keep going. Jennifer says, Cornel West and Jill Stein have not had good plans, but it's a protest vote. Yeah. I think that's true. That's what I was talking about. Yeah, I agree with you. Yes. So Shelly says, there was a guy named Larry Sharpe who hosted debates among third parties. It's true. I've done it more than once. Absolutely. Yes. I have done it more than once. Yes. Jennifer goes on to say, Larry, you're very likable. I think I saw you on Due Distance for the first time. Yes, I go to I will talk left, right. I'll talk far left, far right. Doesn't matter. I'll talk to anybody, anytime. Happy to have conversations. I don't think we can change anything unless we're talking. I just don't think we can change anything unless we're talking. That's why I keep trying to talk, right? I do keep trying. And the sad part is people say, well, you can't have this guy on because, oh my God, you're platforming him. No, more conversation, the better, right? More conversation, the better. So yes. All right. Freedom says, you run for governor again, you have my vote, Larry. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yes, absolutely. Liberty Lady says, thank you for taking time out of your Saturday night to do all this, Larry. I still consider you a Liberty mentor. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Yes. Joel says, I like Rumble better. If something is available on Rumble, I watch it there. Yeah, I might get there. I might go there. I'm considering it. Yes, I am considering going there. Yes. Carson says, the shadow banning and outright censorship stories on these big platforms is just crazy. 100% true. Yes, absolutely. Yes. All righty. Pinkerbell is here. Hey, Pinkerbell. So glad to see you. I hope I didn't make you angry too. So yes. Dave says, Larry, the Greek school charges what? 10 to 12,000? Actually less. My kids in the Greek school, well, there's a lot of other stuff, like they nickel and dime you, but the actual per year is about $7,000, maybe $8,000. This is years ago. I don't know if it still is that. It might be up to 8 or 9 now, but my kids in the Greek school years ago, my daughter's 20. So yeah, probably it was like $7,000 or $8,000 a year. Plus it's always like, oh, you need 100 here, 25 there, 50 there. So it probably equaled 8 or 9 over the time. So yeah. Liberty Lady says, do your two daughters keep up with politics since you do? And what do you think about you being libertarian? My youngest loves the fact that I go on like YouTube and stuff. She loves that, like tells her friends and stuff. My oldest one follows politics more than her friends, but her friends, let's say they wouldn't like that I'm libertarian. How about that? That's what I would say. So she rarely tells them who I am or what I do. Yes, they rarely do that. So she goes to art school. So I think that would, be good. So yes. So Vinmar Geese, I owe you like 80,000 phone calls. I need to reach out to you. He says, I've told my sons who are boxers to never hit a girl, but in the Olympics you can. I'm happy you joined me this evening. A few years ago, my 8-year-old younger son sparred against a 12-year-old girl in Miami who was several inches taller than him and outweighed him. Zach beat her so badly that she was left bleeding and crying. After that, I haven't let him spar against a female again. My oldest son has never sparred against a female. It's pure lunacy. Former Olympic gold medalist Oscar La Hoya and boxing champion Sums. I think, did he keep running? See if I get another one. Did he finish it? Hold on, see if I can find the finish. And I can't find your finish. I'm sure you put it somewhere. See if I can find it later. I can't find your finish. Yeah, I can't find your finish. All right, we'll see. Okay. Sigma says, one woman, Denise Long, was drafted by the NBA in 1969. Yes, you can absolutely do it. Yes. And he goes on to say, Louisa Harris was drafted in 1977. Yes, there's no gender issue. Yes, there's no gender issue. Absolutely. Yes. So, all righty. Philip says, I work in athletics. You talk about the top level trans females who are outliers, male or female. None of the trans athletes I've worked with have been close to the top of their team. It's a complicated issue. I agree it's complicated. I agree it is. Yes. Yes, I agree. 100%. It's not just yes or no. I completely agree. They have to find ways of doing it, right? They simply have to. Yes. Lucy says, it sucks that you went into debt to run. I spent $1,000 to run against AOC as a write-in to get measly 80 votes. Dem's not allowing me to audit. Yes, you can't do that. Yes. That's see, people ask, why don't you write in so-and-so? People don't know this. Thank you for bringing this up, Lucy. They won't even count your write-in vote in New York. They won't even count it. They'll ignore it. You can't audit. They won't count it. Nothing. They just go, you weren't on the ballot, so you don't count. That's how New York works, and there is no recourse. I know I've sued. I've sued multiple times. There's no recourse. They just tell you no. Yes. So anyway, all right. Lucy's mad at me. She goes, nope, you're wrong. I get it. She says, I wish you wouldn't die on this hill. There's no other hill to die on for me. Is there another one? Is there another one? There isn't one. We'll find out. So, yep. Jennifer says, I hear you. I like RFK besides all that. Have you checked Dr. Shiva? I think you found him. I was going to have him on my show, but his people somehow didn't connect to me. I was actually going to interview him because someone told me about him or someone reached out, and I started talking and then just stopped. Yes. So he says the national LP failed you in 2022. You ran your hat up. It's true. The worst part is, when I was done with my run in 2018, I was $100,000 in debt, over $100,000 in debt. But I'd achieved something. It was worth it. Like, we had done something, right? We'd achieved something. It was totally worth it. In 2022, I was $40,000 in debt, and it was absolutely not worth it. I got nothing out of it. Total loss, just loss, to the point where I wish I hadn't done it. It was just, I lost family, friends. I lost so much in that race in 2022. I wish I hadn't run. So yeah, I got some scars on that one. Lucy, maybe that's why I'm so mad. I got some scars. I definitely got some scars off that one. So yes. Michael says, stop 270, sent it out. That's what I was saying. I've been saying that forever. This is the way of doing it. If RFK Jr. wins just 4 or 5 states, I'm not saying he can't. I hope he can. I think if we put the right money into it, it can be done. Utah, Nevada, Arizona, Michigan, something like that. Maybe one more. Georgia, I don't know. Maybe whatever. 4 or 5 states, whatever. Wins a couple states. He does that, and neither Trump or Kamala get 270 electoral votes. It goes to the House. And when it goes to the House, each state gets 1 vote. That's it. Wyoming is as powerful as California. Rhode Island is as powerful as Texas. 1 vote only. If neither of them has 26 states, Puerto Rico doesn't matter here. DC doesn't get the vote here. This is in the Constitution's 12th Amendment. Only states vote. That's it. So DC does not get a vote in this. Neither does Puerto Rico, Guam, nothing. Only the states get a vote in this case. It's called the contingent election. You can check the 12th Amendment if you want to. The Thomas Jefferson was like this way. So was John Quincy Adams. That's how they both became president. This method. If this happens, each one gets 1 vote. If neither of them has 26 states, if they haven't have 26 states to say yes, they need a compromise candidate. And the only candidate who compromises is going to be RFK Jr. He goes, I'll take 3 Republicans, 3 Democrats, 2 this, 2 that. We'll make a deal. They'll all make deal, wine and dine. He's president. Imagine if he's president. I'm not promising this, Michael. I'm not promising this. Of course not. How could I promise this? Of course I'm not. I'm saying there is an actual pathway, a real pathway for a third party to win this thing. Let's say he doesn't win, but it goes to the Congress. You just gave every independent candidate hope for the future instead of right now feeling like there's no chance of victory. Instead, you gave every one of them hope for the future. Every one of them going, damn it, he won a state? He won 4 states? I could do that. They might go, why does that matter? Because the most important thing, and I know some of you can be mad at me when I say it, but I'm never going to lie to you and tell you the truth. Number one thing, donor base. You have to raise millions of dollars to run for president. Millions with an S to run for president. Well, if all of a sudden people start watching and seeing, wait a minute, These guys can possibly win. The donors all of a sudden, guys are starting to give you $100, $200 every month. Guys give you $100,000, $10,000. Now the money's coming in. Now you have a shot at winning. He breaks a hole with this. This is why I wanted Gary Johnson this in 2016. He didn't want to do it. Joe Jorgensen didn't want to do this in 2020. This is my plan for 2020. It's why I wanted. It's why I was behind Judge Jim Gray in 2020. He wanted this plan in 2020. Lars Mapstead wanted it in 2024. That's why I wanted behind him. Bobby Kennedy wants that now. That's why I'm behind him. This is the plan for third parties in the future. I've been saying it for 8 years, and the people who want to do it either don't win or aren't in my party. It's the plan. There is no other way. Everything else, and I've watched it and so have you, sadly, is a colossal waste of time and money. We have to break the system. This is how we break the system. This is how we break the system. That's why I feel that. That's what I feel. So I know it sucks, but I'm moving forward. Carson says, Kennedy's the only other name that's included in the recent Secret Service hearings. Yes, he's in Secret Service now too. Yes, absolutely. Jennifer, some say don't vote at all, but interesting. I get that. I do. I understand not voting. I'm not going to do that, but I understand it completely. Just feeling like, why bother? Like every time we do something, we just get trashed again. I get it. I do. I'm not going to do that. But yes, 100%. Lucy, I'm not saying I'm pro-Malay, to be forward with you. I'm not saying that. You have not heard me say that. What I'm saying is I think we have to give him a year. That's what I'm saying. I don't know if what he's doing is actually working. I'm unsure. I'm just saying I think we got to give him a year. And then afterwards, we'll come back and you can yell at me and go, see how wrong I was. Or maybe I'll say, look, I was right. I think we'll find out. I think we have to give him a year. Then I'm prepared to make a comment on that. I don't know. That's my view on this. So, all right. Dave says, Larry, Trump and Republicans and red states and blue states will do everything in their power to prevent minor parties from running candidates. You see it already. Right now, the DNC is the worst. The RNC will jump on board. But right now, the DNC is the worst. The DNC is put a $1 billion aside to make sure third-party candidates are thrown off the ballot. And I know some of you were asking, Robert was asking about us getting together. Bobby Kennedy Jr. and Cornel West, believe it or not, are together fighting North Carolina. Together. I mean, that this, again, I know you're going to be unhappy, Lucy, but Cornel West doesn't have the money to do it on his own. He doesn't have it. The Kennedy PAC does, and Kennedy does. Got the cash to fight and to win. Cornel West will be on the ballot in North Carolina because of cash, not because of him, because of cash. I know it sucks. I do. I know. I don't like the fact that we need cash. It doesn't make me happy. It still is true. It is just true. So yes. And that's because he's got cash. Yes, he's got cash. Jennifer asks, are you going on due distance anytime soon? Whenever they ask me. Yep. Michael says, Ohio is toast for third parties. Agreed. We're going to lose all of them, and it's going to get worse. Right? This is actually Dave's point. They are going out of their way. Someone has to break a hole, or nobody's getting on the ballot again. No one's going to the ballot again. That's the issue. So, there we go. Sigma says it's not about liking Kennedy, it's about changing the game. I agree. I do. I'm with you. Yep. Dave says if RFK wins an electoral vote in Nebraska, an electoral vote in Maine, it could get sent to the House. Maybe that really is risky, but you're right. In theory, you could just with one or two electoral votes put it into the House, but the odds are against it. Dave, be forward. Trump will win most states, but he may not win all electoral votes, but he'll probably win the most states. So yes, but it'd be better if he won a couple states to be forward. But yes, that was the other point I was talking about when it came to Lars Mapstead running as Libertarian. I was talking about that too. So yes, I was talking about that. So yes. All right. Jennifer says, I hate this. Donors are the controllers. Yeah. It's true. Yeah. It's true. 100%. Grape doesn't says RFK is pro-genocide. Okay. I'm just going to say this for reality check here. Gaza's getting bombed no matter who wins this election. I am not happy about that. I think it's horrible. I think it shouldn't be happening. I can't stand it. I have to be realistic. The only chance that it doesn't get bombed, and that's only a chance, still a chance, is if third parties have influence. Because it's third party people who don't want that to happen. All the mainstream people are totally on board 100%. Kamala might say a thing or two here, but she's 100% on board. Trump's 100% on board. They're all on board. So it's not like, so you have two choices in this case. Grapentine, is that what it is? I hope I'm saying it right. Option one, well, a three, sorry, not vote. That's possible. I get it. I understand it. I think you should vote. That's my opinion, but you don't have to. I get it. The other piece, though, is if you get third parties to be valid in any way, shape, or form, that can stop this. If they're not, it doesn't stop. So if you vote for, whatever, Trump or Biden or whoever, or Harris, whoever you vote for them, you're just virtue signaling, and it's not going to stop. That's my point. It's a virtue signal vote, not going to stop. You cannot vote, protest, still not going to stop. You can vote for third-party candidate. I think this is still the best one, but either one would also work. Third party, no matter what, would work. Third party, no matter what, would work. This is my option on my ballot. It's the one I'm taking. But third party, no matter what, would work. If third parties have influence, there is a chance. I'm not guaranteeing it. That's the only way that stops. I just hope that makes sense at least. So Pickerbell says, Arthur Jr. has dynastic wealth. Yes. And again, this is what I was about earlier. I don't want that to be the case. It is the case. Again, everything I'm saying, I'm not saying it's good. I'm saying what is real, right? What is real. It's true. He also has a name that people still recognize. Yes, he has, presidential Secret Service protection. Yes, the others don't. They're not going to. They did this when Gary Johnson was running. He was polling in 2016. He was polling very well. He asked, not for Secret Service protection, but he asked for daily briefings. Most people don't know this, but if you run for president as a Democrat or Republican, you get daily briefings, the same as the president does. That's actual thing they do. So Trump now is getting daily briefings, the same ones that, in theory, Biden's getting if he's getting them. But he gets daily briefings. Why? Because how can you talk to the press about what's happening and be fair if you don't know what the president knows? I'm not joking. That happens now. Gary Johnson didn't get it. You know who's going to get it? Bobby Kennedy Jr. Yes, he will. He can make impact. That's why I say it. He can make impact. That's it. So, yes. All right. Let's see here. If I would grab one more. Jennifer says, RFK just filed in PA to get in the ballot. Yeah, the odds are he will be, on the ballot in 50 states. I think he will. So, yes. Joe says, I totally disagree with you, Larry. Donald Trump will stop the one guy. He will not. He will not. No, he will not. He might stop the war in Ukraine. Maybe. He might. He's not stopping the war in Gaza. No way. That's not going to happen. So, is that why Gary didn't know what Aleppo was? Partially, yes, Carson. Because he wasn't getting daily briefs like everybody else was. Partially, yes. Partially, yes. Yes. So, do we know for a fact that? No, I said he will be getting them. The first step is this. The second step will be brief. The first step is going to be Secret Service. The second step will be briefings. No one's going to get that. No one's going to get that. And again, that makes him valid. That gives him a chance at actual impact. Guys, I'm going to ask you one more time. Please click that like button. I have asked a lot, but we know I'm getting shadow banned. If you like what I'm doing, you want me to have more conversations like this, you want to be able to talk to people. You guys going back and forth in the chat too, having good conversations with people who you disagree with. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that great? Not an echo chamber? Isn't that great? You want to support that? Click the button that is like, regardless of whatever you are watching. Click that button. Second, If you are watching someplace where you can share, Facebook, Twitter, please share it right now. Just share it. It's awesome. If you want to help out, you can, of course, by super chatting me or become a member. Either one is great. I love it. It helps tremendously. If you do either one of those, please do so. That'd be amazing. And one more thing I'm going to ask you. When this is over, right? When this is over, I would like you to come back and leave a comment. You know who likes that? I know who likes it. So do you, Mr. Al Gore Rhythm. Likes it very much. And since he likes it, we should please him so that I can get more people watching. So please come back afterwards, leave a quick comment. I will respond. Guys, I want to say thank you so much for this evening. I want to do another. I wanted to do another one of these AMAs. I haven't done them in a while. I'll try to do one next week if I can. I'm off tomorrow. However, I'll be back on Monday. I'm rebooting the Sharpe Club, which is coming on 9 p.m. on Monday. 4 people talking on Monday. Should be a great show. Hope I'll see you then. And my Tuesday show, 1 p.m. out of Rochester, New York on Tuesday at 1. I will see you all very soon.